Study Unit 5. This presentation is an overview of measurement, construct development, and scaling. In this presentation, you will learn what constructs are, how are they developed, and why they are important to measurement and scale designs. The integrated validity and reliability concerns underlying the construct development and scale measurement, and identifying and explaining the 4 basic levels of scales. Measurement is the process of assigning intensity to the information about constructs, concepts, and objects. There are 2 aspects of a measurement: construct development and scale measurement. Construct development involves identifying and defining what's to be measured, while scale measurement is about how to precisely measure each construct. An object is defined as a tangible item in a person's environment that can be clearly and easily identified through his or her sensors. A construct is a variable that examines subjective or abstract properties that are intangible, and the characteristics cannot be directly observed or measured. The construct development process involves determining what data should be collected to examine the research problem, and then selecting existing constructs or develop new ones to collect the data. The center of construct development is determining exactly what is to be measured. Relevant objects are identified first. The objective and subjective properties of each object are then specified. The correctness of an object is limited to measuring the object's objective properties, and the object's subjective properties are the measurable subcomponent that can be used to clarify or understand the abstractness associated with the object's subjective properties. If we take a consumer as an object, its concrete properties include age, gender, marital status, income, brand last purchased, dollar amount of purchase, types of product purchased, color of eyes and hair, etc. His or her abstract properties include attributes towards a product, brand loyalty, high involvement purchases, emotions, intelligence, personality, risk taker, etc. After developing constructs and collecting data, researchers use statistical analysis to assess content validity, convergent validity, discriminant validity, and nomological validity. Content validity is the subjective yet systematic assessment of how well a construct's measurable components represent the construct. Convergent validity is when the researcher's measures of a construct are highly correlated with non-existing measures of the same construct. Discriminant validity is the existence of a negative correlation between the measurement of one construct and those measures of another construct. And nomological validity is the assessment of how well one construct theoretically fits within a framework of other established constructs that are related yet different. Pilot study is a method to assess construct validity. There are 2 approaches. to collect data from 50 people who represent the defined target population, or to collect data from a panel of experts that independently judge the dimensionality of the construct. The process of construct operationalization focuses on the design and use of questions and measurement scales to collect data. It explains a construct's meaning in measurement terms by specifying the activities or operations necessary to measure it. Scale points are the degree of intensity assigned to a set of responses for a particular question or observation approach. Researchers consider 4 properties of scale measurements: assignment, order, distance, and origin. The assignment property, also referred to as description or category property, is where the researcher uses unique descriptors or labels to identify or assign each object within a set. The order property is the relative magnitude between the descriptor used as scale points. The distance property expresses the absolute differences between each of the descriptor or scale points. Lastly, the origin property refers to the use of a unique starting point in a set of scale points that is designated as being a true natural zero or true state or nothing. There are 4 basic scale levels: ratio, interval, ordinal, and nominal. A nominal scale is a type of scale in which the questions require respondents to provide only some type of descriptor as the raw responses. Here are some examples of nominal scales, including marital status and gender. There are 2 types of ordinal scales: ordinal scales by ranking and ordinal scales by rating. Ordinal scales by ranking ask respondents to indicate the order or ranking of the responses to a question. For example, the respondents are asked to rank the following email providers in terms of their ease of access by placing 1 in front of the service provider that they feel is the best, and 2 next to the one that is the second best, and continue until they have ranked all 4 service providers, including Google, Yahoo, Hotmail, and Comcast. Under ordinal scales by rating, respondents can indicate the order or rating of the responses to a question. For example, the respondents need to answer questions like which one statement best describes your opinion of an Apple phone. The respondent may indicate he or she agrees to the following statements like better than an LG phone. An interval scale is a scale that demonstrates absolute differences between each scale point. For example, a respondent is asked, how likely are you going to recommend a shop to a friend? Ranging from definitely will not to definitely will, he or she is asked to circle on a scale from 1 to 7. A ratio scale is a scale that allows the researcher to identify the absolute differences not only between each scale point, but also to make comparisons between the raw responses. It also has a true zero point. For example, a respondent is asked to circle the number of children under 18 years old currently living in the household. He or she can circle number from 0 to 7 and specify a number if more than 7. Scale reliability refers to the extent to which a scale can reproduce the same measurement results in repeated trials. Two of the techniques that help researchers to assess the reliability of scales are test-retest and equivalent form. The test-retest technique involves repeating the scale measurement with either the same sample of respondents at two different times or two different samples of respondents from the same defined target population under as nearly the same conditions as possible. The equivalent form is a technique to establish scale reliability by measuring and correlating the measurements of two equivalent scaling instruments. Internal consistency refers to the degree to which the various dimensions of a multidimensional construct correlate with the scale. That is, the set of items that make up the scale must be internally consistent. Measures of central tendency refers to the basic sample statistics that are generated through analyzing the collected data. These include the mean, the median, and the mode. Measures of dispersion relate to how the data are dispersed around a central tendency value. These sample statistics allow researchers to report the diversity of the responses to a particular scale measurement. They include the frequency distribution, the range, and the estimated sample standard deviation. To summarize, a construct can be viewed as any objects that cannot be directly observed and measured, yet about which information is needed. Scale measurement is the process of assigning a set of descriptors to represent the range of possible responses the person gives in answering a question about a particular object, construct, or factor. The four basic levels of scales are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Reflection question. Identify and discuss the key issues a researcher should consider when choosing a scale measurement for capturing consumers' expression of satisfaction.